When we think of an airplane, our imagination usually conjures images of powerful, roaring engines, enormous, seemingly floating wings, and a cockpit filled with all sorts of instruments, screens, and control panels. However, few pay attention to something more modest but no less important: the wheels. Yes, these seemingly tiny elements, which, despite their apparent insignificance compared to the giant body of the aircraft, withstand truly colossal loads. They handle weights of hundreds of tons and incredible speeds upon landing, from which the strongest car tire would shatter to pieces. How do these tires manage to stay intact under such extreme conditions? And another intriguing question: how much does one such wheel cost? Let's delve into this topic in more detail and explore 10 of the most amazing facts about airplane wheels. We'll start with one of the most impressive aspects. When an airplane touches the runway, its speed can reach over 250 kilometers per hour, and the total weight can reach a colossal 560 tons, like the giant Airbus A380. For comparison, at such a speed, a car hitting the asphalt with its wheels would suffer an instant catastrophe. Its tires would simply explode. But nothing terrible happens to the airplane. The secret lies in the material from which the tires are made. Airplane tires are made from a special synthetic ultra-strong rubber, reinforced with several layers of nylon and Kevlar, a material known for its incredible strength and used in the production of bulletproof vests. Thanks to this construction, the tires can withstand not only monstrous weight loads, but also sharp temperature and pressure changes, making them truly unique. To understand the scale, one such wheel can withstand pressure 38 times greater than an ordinary car tire, and even after dozens of landings, it retains its shape and air tightness. Now let's turn our attention to what fills airplane tires. If you thought that airplane tires use regular air like in cars, that's not the case. In fact, they are filled with pure nitrogen. But why nitrogen? Firstly, nitrogen, unlike regular air, does not expand when heated. This is extremely important because during landing, the tires heat up to extreme temperatures, and any gas expansion could lead to an explosion. Secondly, nitrogen contains no moisture or oxygen, which could cause corrosion of the metal parts of the wheel. Thanks to this, the internal surface of the tires remains in perfect condition for much longer. Thirdly, nitrogen behaves stably under extreme pressures and temperatures, not losing its properties even at an altitude of 10 kilometers, where the outside temperature can drop below 50 degrees Celsius. So, when you see a technician inflating airplane tires, know that they are using not an ordinary compressor, but a special high-pressure nitrogen tank. Now let's move on to a question that might surprise you. How much does one airplane wheel cost? If you ever thought car tires were expensive, prepare to be even more amazed. The price of one airplane tire ranges from $5,000 to $20,000, depending on the aircraft model. For example, a Boeing 747 has 18 wheels, and the legendary An-225 Maria had as many as 32 wheels. Just think about how much replacing the entire set could cost. But that's not all. Tires need to be replaced quite often, every 300 or 400 landings. And considering that airlines perform thousands of flights a month, just replacing tires costs millions of dollars a year. Yes, wheels are not just a part. They are a crucial element of flight safety, and no expense is spared on them. So how are airplane wheels replaced? If you've ever seen how car wheels are changed at a service station, the process of changing airplane wheels is a level of extreme professionalism. First, the landing gear is lifted using powerful hydraulic jacks. Then, the tire pressure is released to prevent it from exploding during removal, as there are many atmospheres inside. After that, special equipment is used, as one wheel weighs from 100 to 200 kilograms. A new tire is installed and reinflated with high-pressure nitrogen. All this is done as quickly as possible because airplanes fly on schedule and downtime at the airport costs a lot of money. It's interesting to wonder why airplanes need so many wheels. If cars manage with 4, why might an airplane have 6, 10, 18, or even more? The answer lies in weight distribution. Take, for example, the Boeing 747, which can weigh around 400 tons at takeoff. If it only had 4 wheels, they would simply sink into the asphalt. The more wheels there are, the more evenly the pressure is distributed on the runway. This protects the surface from damage, and makes the landing stable and safe. Sometimes it may seem like the wheels are spinning before touching the ground. If you've ever watched a plane landing in slow motion, you might have noticed a strange effect, as if the wheels start spinning before they touch the ground. In reality, this is just an optical illusion created by the camera's frame rate and the speed of the aircraft. To the naked eye, it looks like the tires are already spinning, but in fact, they start rotating only at the moment of contact with the ground, when enormous friction is applied to them. Finally, what happens if a tire bursts during landing? Such cases are rare, but they cannot be completely ruled out. In the world of aviation, where every move and maneuver is calculated to the smallest detail, safety remains the top priority, despite all the efforts of engineers and technologists. Sometimes even the most advanced equipment can encounter surprises. For example, airplane tires, despite their modern and robust design, can burst. Such situations can arise from a variety of factors, from overheating caused by high speeds and friction to material fatigue or foreign objects on the runway. But there's no need to panic, as the aircraft's design is made to handle such challenges. The reliability of aviation tires is based on their multi-layered reinforced structure. Even if a tire is damaged, its inner layers maintain shape and prevent rubber pieces from scattering on the runway. This allows the aircraft to remain stable and controllable. Moreover, airplanes are equipped with multiple wheels. If one fails, the remaining wheels distribute the load and ensure a safe landing. Engineers also consider the possibility of sudden pressure drops in the tires, designing landing gear struts to compensate for such changes and cushion the impact during landing. Aviation history knows cases where planes successfully landed even with several damaged wheels. This vividly illustrates the high level of thoughtfulness and reliability of engineering solutions that modern aviation relies on. But how do airplanes brake? And why don't regular car brakes suffice here? After touching the runway, airplane wheels not only absorb the impact load, but they must also stop the massive weight moving at super high speeds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour. For this, aviation uses carbon brake discs capable of withstanding extreme temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees without any deformation. When the pilot presses the brake pedals, a complex hydraulic system presses the brake pads against the discs, creating enormous friction. Sometimes you can see smoke rising from under the airplane. This is not a malfunction, but the result of colossal heating of the brakes, which literally glow white hot. To reduce the load on the braking system, airplanes use additional deceleration means. Spoilers, or movable flaps on the wings, create additional air resistance, reducing lift, and the reverse thrust on the engines redirects the airflow forward, helping to slow down the aircraft. All this allows the plane to reduce speed faster and more safely without relying solely on its wheels. What happens to the tires when they reach the end of their lifespan? Like car tires, they are thoroughly inspected after each series of landings. Specialists carefully check the wheels for cracks, measure wear levels, and assess air tightness. If a tire reaches the limit of its lifespan, it is removed and sent for recycling or refurbishment. Some tires, after necessary repairs, undergo testing and return to service. Others find new life in completely different areas. They are used to create safety barriers at airfields, on training grounds, and even in children's play areas. Thus, each tire gets a second life. But why are airplane wheels so small? At first glance, they seem too small for the massive body of the aircraft. However, engineers do not increase the size of the tires for several reasons. Larger wheels would mean increased weight, greater air resistance, and complications with fitting them inside the fuselage. After all, the landing gear must retract completely to avoid disrupting the aerodynamics of the flight. Therefore, engineers make the wheels extraordinarily strong and resistant to high loads while keeping them compact. One such small wheel can withstand loads of tens of tons, while remaining light and technologically advanced. Airplane wheels are one of the most underrated components of aviation. They absorb colossal forces during takeoff and landing, withstand extreme temperatures, pressure, and friction that car tires could only dream of. Every detail, from the rubber composition to the method of nitrogen inflation, is thought out to the smallest nuances. All this is done for one purpose: to ensure the safety and smoothness of landing for hundreds of thousands of passengers. So next time you see an airplane gently touch down on the runway, remember the enormous work these seemingly small wheels perform.